Welcome to the Scratch Golfer's Mindset Podcast. My name is Paul Salter, and I'm a triple-digit golfer on a quest to become a scratch golfer. I'm also a high-performance mindset coach and credentialed hypnotherapist with 15 years of experience helping high performers from all walks of life get unstuck and unlock their full potential. Join me each week as I not only detail my journey, but make mastering the mental game of golf simple, tangible, and relatable so that you can overcome the mental hazards keeping you stuck in the proverbial bunker of poor performance. Hey, fellow golfer. Welcome back to another episode of the Scratch Golfer's Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Salter, the golf hypnotherapist, and buckle up because we have a roller coaster ride of updates in this Tuesday edition of the podcast where I bring you up to speed on all that has transpired in the past 7 days as I work toward achieving first and foremost, the ultimate goal of becoming a scratch golfer, but in the more immediate vicinity of time, it's the goal of breaking 90 on or before November 13th. And there's a lot to update you on today, including somehow having what felt like the best and the worst round to date. But they were the same round. More on that to come in just a moment. Before we dive in, though, I just want to give a big shout out to my dear friend Luke. This man was on a mission at the beginning of the year to get out of his own way. He was, in his words, struggling mightily with the mental aspect of golf. You've heard me mention his story before. He was plagued by pressure, fear, and anxiety stepping over those second putts. And as a result, it was like he was a magnet for three putts. It was almost as if he was thinking about three putting while he was making the walk from cart to green, and this was significantly holding him back. Well, we fast forward from when we first connected, I believe it was February, and his index was a 5.7. We bring you all the way up to today. His index is a 2.1. He has brought home countless pieces of hardware, winning multiple trophies in a variety of tournaments. He is a putting machine playing out of his mind. But what stood out to me today in a recent conversation in which, by the way, he shot a 1 under 71, he double bogeyed 9 only to finish the back 9 at 2 under, was him taking some time to explain to one of his friends the impact mindset coaching has had on his life and his performance to date. And he found the experience of having to actually articulate the results, the benefit, the impact, the value he's experienced profoundly beneficial in and of itself because it helped him recognize where he's experiencing so much ease, so much effortlessness, ultimately allowing playing to his potential to become a habit. And I bring this up to not only celebrate and send a big shout out to Luke, but to also bring up just the long-term benefit of experiencing ease, effortness, congruency in your life that allows you to transcend occasional bouts of feeling, seeing your potential, to ultimately shape that into becoming your norm, your default, playing to your potential, becoming a habit. And if you want to learn how to get out of your own way and unlock your potential, make playing to your potential a habit, well, I invite you to use the link in the show notes to connect with me on a mental game assessment and discovery call so we can learn how I can help you get out of your own way and unlock your full potential. Well, with that said, cue the 2-minute drill Chris Berman music because we are going to go off to the races. Another round of 18 this past Saturday with my good buddy Aaron at Heritage Isles Golf Course here in, I guess technically it's Wesley Chapel, just outside of Tampa Bay. Remember, this is the home course. This is where we're going to break 90. And I'm going to be honest, I've got a good feeling about this upcoming weekend, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. So we are starting on the back nine, but what I think is really important to note is on this day, it was a dream day scenario. It was actually this past Friday. I think I said Saturday. And I got up early, finished the to-dos, published the newsletter, great edition of the More Pars Than Bogeys newsletter, all about patience, something I'm working on every single day. Fire off a couple emails and we go hit the range. We spend about an hour or so working on putting and chipping and about 45 minutes working on the gap, the pitching, the 9, and the 8 iron. 2 hours of practice, knowing we're playing a few hours later. We go home, we have a new client call, we have a sales call with a new client, and then we are back at the course again to play 18. We're feeling good. I got all dialed in during that, what inevitably was an extended warm-up session. Hit a couple putts, hit a couple balls, and we were rocking and rolling. Starting out on 10, first drive, boom, we're out of bounds. Not the start we were looking for. We rally, we find a way before, not once, but twice, finding ourselves out of bounds to start the day on number 10 with a triple bogey. And again, we are moving to the next hole, the par 5 11. Where first shot, okay, we're in play. Second shot, blasted it only to find it take a hard kick off the cart path. And wouldn't you know it, out of bounds. It's an uphill battle, to say the least, to start this beautiful Friday afternoon. And we end up parting a bogey on the par 5 11. We hit a double on 12, and we are not starting the way we intended. It's not that they're not necessarily clicking. I'm making great contact, but I'm pushing. I'm not swinging through the ball. I'm a little timid, a little hurried, a little stressed. I need to have a little mental timeout, ground myself, reconnect with my breath, and I begin to settle in on the fourth hole, number 13. Boom, par 3, hit the green, 2-putt, first par of the day. 14, great drive. Green in regulation, 2-putt, back-to-back pars. We're grooving. We're rocking and rolling on to number 15, another par 5. We're out of bounds. Are you starting to notice the theme here? We're out of bounds again on 15. We end up with a double bogey on 5, bringing us to the par 3, 16. Boom, we hit the green in regulation again. This is a big talking point of today's episode. Take note. So both par 3s on the back 9, we have hit the green on 16. I guess I just have to spoil the news. I 4-putt. It had about a probably estimated 50 to 60 foot putt for the first one, uphill, a couple breaks to navigate, and I just left them well short. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. I take the nasty 4-putt. I card a double bogey on 16. And like Ted Lasso says in, I believe, episode 1 to Sam, be a goldfish. My playing partner, Aaron, I believe he doubled that hole too. I reminded him, I broke down the expression, the reference from Ted Lasso, be a goldfish. Short memory. We're off to the races. We par 17. We bogey 18. We card a 47 on the back 9, which ties our best at this course on the back 9. We make the turn into what becomes really the front 9 here. We bogey 1. We move to the par 5, hole number 2. We're out of bounds again. And not to mention on 18, the only reason I bogeyed is I hit a shot out of bounds. There's a theme here. Keep the ball in bounds. I'm probably shooting mid-80s at this point. So we double bogey number 2. We double bogey number 3. We triple bogey 4. So from 2, 3, and 4, we go double, double, triple, 2 out of bounds. And I'm looking here, no greens in regulations, and 6 putts. We chunked a couple. We left them short. We put ourselves in a peculiar position. And at this point, I'm starting to feel like a good round is slipping. You know, if I was ecstatic with the 47 on the front, knowing there was so much room for potential, I'm striking the ball well. And we're reaching a fork in the road. We can either shut down or succumb to a shit-filled back 9, which is really the front 9 here, or we can regroup, refocus, and what do you know? We choose the latter. We regroup, refocus. We par 5, which, again, par 3, green in regulation, 2-putt. Notice the theme here. We bogey 6, we bogey 7, we par 8, another par 3, green in regulation, We double 9 because there's an out of bounds, wouldn't you know? Part of 48 on technically the front. Walk away with a 95 for the round. Best round to date. But as you probably listened to, so many good things. So many things we could have done better. For the front 9, one 3-putt, one putt. On the back 9, which was really what I played first, all 2 putts except that one horrendous 4-putt. So 38 putts on the round. Not terrible, considering my average is 35.6 of all the rounds I've recorded here. But it was my worst round of putting, or second worst round to date, where I felt like my putting was really beginning to click. That 4-putt, very costly, obviously. But again, in the grand scheme of things, just a couple strokes off my average, room for improvement, work to be done as always. But countless out-of-bounds shots. I mean, that right there, let's say I had 2 out-of-bounds shots, I'm flirting with an 89 or a 90. So as I've described the last month or so, I've felt a little inconsistent off the tee box. And that was the information, the feedback I brought into my lesson on Sunday, which I'll address in a moment. But the big theme here is I hit greens in regulation. 7 greens in regulation, by far my most to date this year. And what do you know? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pars, 2 bogeys that had out of bounds, I believe, 2 bogeys that had out of bounds, and I played the par 5s horrendously. So much to be grateful for. So much to be excited for, yet simultaneously it's that weird mix of excitement and missed opportunity leading to disappointment. But the journey goes on. So that's where we're at. As a whole, ecstatic about that round. Really think it's a stepping stone. A lot of growth came from that round. So I'm leaving that day, had a wonderful time with my playing buddy, Aaron. I'm feeling confident. Head's held high, chest is out. I'm walking into my lesson on Sunday morning, and I'm feeling good. I'm starting to hit some balls. I'm hitting some good ones. The driving range is crowded. My coach is behind me. He's talking to players right behind me too. So hitting a really good shot, and then maybe I chunk a couple, hitting a good shot, just starting to get settled. And then it starts to settle in. We're into the teaching session. I'm hitting some good balls, and he's like, okay, I want you to put your club away, and I want you to come sit down with me. And he's got all this video to show me. He's like, you're not doing this. You need to do more of this, less of this. And quickly was I humbled as we deconstructed the swing back down to its basic elements, only to spend the remaining 90 minutes or so working on, I'm a right-handed golfer, me really getting that rotation so my left shoulder passes to or through the ball so I can rely on my core to do the swinging, the hard work for me, if you will. And to be frank, I felt a little bit of motivation, or not motivation, a little bit of energy deflation happening. Because as you can imagine, starting to toy with the swing a little bit more, I'm thinking, I'm trying to digest and absorb all of his feedback, and it's inconsistent. It's frustrating to say the least. So that's how I left the range portion of that lesson. And I'm going to skip ahead now and just let you know where I am today, Monday, as I'm recording this. I had a 2-hour practice session on the range. And I feel like I took 3 steps back in my swing. I felt like I couldn't hit the golf ball to save my life. I'm inconsistent. I'm overthinking. I want to just regress back to what worked for me 3 days ago that I felt so confident about. And now I'm inviting in all of these swing thoughts. I told you I wanted to work with my coach on the driver, the 3-wood, getting off the tees. And he was like, no. We still got to work on your foundation, your core swing. You tell me you want to be a scratch golfer. We've got to get the fundamentals in place. And after a horrendous, frustrating, and painful practice session, rich in video, I sent him feedback, my coach that is. I started pondering the notion of when and where do I draw the line? When and where do I shut the gates of the feedback, the coaching, the tips that I am and am not willing and ready to accept? What point do I shut out the outside noise and focus on what I know works well for me and stick to it? There's part of me that recognizes that could be an old pattern of mine of wanting to go fast, but doing it alone. Though I say I have a goal of wanting to go far, and I come back to the quote that literally did change the trajectory of my life. And that quote is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. And this is a classic example. If I want to go fast, I could tell Melvin to fuck off. I'll see you in 6 months. Let me do what I can to do to eke out breaking 90 as soon as possible. Then I'll take a big step back. Okay, feed me what you need to feed me. Or I can be patient. I can be open-minded. I can remind myself I don't need to break 90 tomorrow. I mean, I would love to. Let's call it like it is. But the goal, the ultimate goal, remains scratch. And I could potentially be doing myself a disservice by just trying to arbitrarily break this goal of 90 with this arbitrary deadline that was self-imposed just purely to implement a sense of healthy pressure. And this would be at the detriment to my swing and developing the fundamentals needed that will take me to becoming a scratch golfer. So I'll be honest, I felt incredibly frustrated after my practice round today. And I sent video feedback to Melvin, and he, in a very polite, elegant way that I'm not going to repeat here, more or less just said, dude, you fucking skipped the first part of what we worked on. You were so focused on the second and third part, you were skipping the extended takeaway, the one-piece takeaway, that full rotation. And because you were skipping that, you were inconsistently hitting the ball. Everything else got out of whack because part one was out of whack. And there was a downstream ripple effect. So after I laughed at myself, and after he connected the dots for me and got back to me so quickly with such a great response, sending me videos of what we did during the lesson, well, I went out into the backyard and I practiced, focused on and prioritized the exact feedback he shared with me. And lo and behold, when I was on the range, I felt stuck. I felt like I couldn't rotate through. I couldn't make solid contact. I just blasted every practice shot, focusing on exaggeration of that takeaway. And I hit every shot clean, straight. And what did you know? It's because I focused on step one rather than skipping to step three. So that's where I'm at in my golf game. I'm going to come back to the putting in a moment here, but it was a really good week of scoring, a really good week of demonstrating emotional resilience. It was very easy for me to choose the path of least resistance, getting frustrated and angry that I hit so many shots out of bounds, getting frustrated I missed an opportunity to par that second par three on the back nine and instead four putted for a double. I could have easily gotten frustrated when I had a stretch of triple, bogey, double, back-to-back doubles, or even double, double, triple. But I persevered. I kept focused on one shot after another. And this is my reminder to you, specifically if you are near my handicap or scoring. Like, I shot a 95 and there were plenty of ugly moments, far from perfect shots, holes, and stretches. And I was still able to put together a decent, respectful score based on where I'm at in my journey. And I take pride of that. And let's just be an example to you, a reminder to you that golf is not a game of perfect. Emotional resiliency, the ability to be a goldfish, to have that short-term 10-second memory and ultimately move forward to focus on your next shot. Those are the collection of skills that are going to serve you and allow you to play to your potential. Now, I want to come back to the putting because my biggest obstacle in putting has been speed control, distance control on those long putts. My MO is leave it short, leave it well short. There's this irrational fear in the back of my mind that I can't possibly leave it long because there's no way in hell I'm going to make the putt coming back. I don't know where that came from. I'm actively working on it. But I can tell you when I revisited some putting at the tail end of my lesson yesterday, Melvin quickly looks at me. He goes, I'm a right-handed putter, remember? Why is your right index finger extended along the shaft? And I said, I don't know. That's all I know. This is how it's always been done. He says, okay, I want you to think of that extended index finger as an antenna. That antenna is transmitting any fear, anxiety, pressure, or uncertainty your body is feeling, and it's transmitting it to the putter. Do you think you're going to be able to putt confidently like that? And before he could even get the words out of his mouth, I quickly just wrapped my index finger around the putter because I was picking up what he was throwing down. And we spent some time together putting, and I felt just a general sense of ease, of better controlling my distance. He had me really work on some long distance putts. I hit some long distance putting work done in the midst of my practice session this morning after I needed a little time out from some frustration on the range. So looking forward to adjusting to this new putting grip while I continue to, gain more proficiency, confidence, and trust in my putting stroke. Again, as a whole, like we removed that 1-4 putt. I putted well. Like I felt confident about my stroke. I left a few short, like I mentioned, and it's a learning opportunity for me. But I really think this subtle tweak is going to allow me to feel confident sending the ball wherever it needs to go, giving it the best shot to make that putt, make the 40, the 50, the 60 footer, and not putt from a place of fear or worry that I'm going to roll the ball past the hole. So excited to implement this change, excited about the direction of the game. Again, it looks like we've got 39% greens in regulation, 38 putts, not the norm. We're building off of that. And here's where we are this week. So it's Monday afternoon as I record this. I just got done 2 hours at the range, like I mentioned, and we're going to get some more range time Wednesday and Friday this week. And we're playing 18 at Heritage Isles back to back this weekend. And I don't know about you, but I smell opportunity. I feel opportunity. Could it be this weekend? Could this be the weekend I break 90? Could this be the weekend I keep the ball in bounds, putt confidently, take it one shot at a time, emotionally reset, refocus, and regroup between every hole and play to my potential? Could this be the defining weekend where I break 90, I go low, I rack up 5 pars in one string of 9 holes? I don't know. Stay tuned. Next Tuesday will be the update. I'm so grateful that you are tuning in, listening to yet another episode of the Scratch Golfers Mindset Podcast. I sincerely appreciate it. I look forward to keeping you posted between now and then. You can connect with me on Instagram at the Golf Hypnotherapist or on Twitter at More Pars Over Bogeys. Otherwise, hit them straight this week. Get your practice in. Get your practice in. Your future self on the range and then on the green this weekend will thank you. Have a phenomenal week, and I'll catch you in the next episode.